it will be quite a handful. I hope you all can hear me with all the airplane sound at the back. I thought NDP finished already, but still flying. Okay, so let me share my screen. Wait. Okay, so this is for those of you, if I'm very sure most of you are not at this stage, okay, but since this is the last day of the week, and if I don't show you now before submission, you know, there's no chance. All right, so let me share my screen. So I have a work here which is actually a student's work previously, and I have done some changes or improve on something. So let me just open up the file. Okay, so let's assume that this is the final artwork and this person has finalized the design, and this is ready for submission. Okay, except that there is a segment, there is a layer called segment. I hope you can see my layers. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay. So these are my layers. So I think most of you will be in this state as well. You will probably create a few layers to organize your work. Okay, so one of the things to keep in mind is sorry, I'm going to throw away this barcode. Okay, so one of the things that you need to keep in mind is to try to group your elements together as much as possible, okay? Because it's easier to organize and shift things around if there is a need to, okay? So for example, here, you see I have this illustration, and in each of them, of course, there are subgroups. Like I have one panda bear here, another one here. This is a top pot lid. This is the pot with the rice, and so you can see that there are different things there, and this is my title. They are all grouped together. I have a side illustration. Same thing. It is all grouped. Okay, maybe I should group this as well. Okay. Background, yeah, background, maybe I should group them as well. Let me group. So this is together. So you can see I have a background. So why I create such a background where you see there's a continuous flow of design, because some of you might be doing this. It is easier if, let's say, you have a flat color. Okay, so if let's say you have a flat color yellow, it's easier. It's more difficult if you have a flowing design that flows from the cover page, flows to the spine, and then flows to the back cover. Okay, so in any case, I'm still talking about grouping. So keep your things grouped up as much as possible. I have a publisher's logo here as well. Okay, and then this is my spine. Okay, so for spine elements, if let's say you want to group them into one unit, yeah, sure, go ahead and group it. Okay, so it is up to you. It's just that when you group things together and when you shift them around, it is easier to manage. All right. Okay, so here you can see I have a layer called segments. If I turn on and off, okay, I'm going to switch off my guides first. Okay, so you can see that my segments is here. So ideally, when I send for print, I should not have this layer. Okay, I should not have. So either you hide it, save as PDF, open up the PDF and see whether the segments is still there. Okay, if it's there, probably you have to get rid of the segments. Okay, because segments are not what we want to print. They are just guides for me to tell me what are the different segments. Okay, so for now, I have 5 separate segments, of which I have already ungrouped, because later on I want to use each of the segments to do my clipping of my graphic. So I will explain that later. Okay. Oops, what happened? Oh, you see, my Illustrator just quit on its own. So you see, you must always save your work often. This is live demo. Okay, it's okay. Let me just ignore this. I already reopened. Still not letting me. Okay. Okay. So this is, I'm talking about segments now. So segments are not what we want to get printed out. So along with the segments, we have various guidelines. Okay. So the guidelines are also a demarcation of all the different parts. Okay. This is for me in the event if I switch off my segments, I can still see the individual segments, right? Okay. So guidelines are definitely won't be printed out. Okay, so do utilize. So do bear in mind, guidelines, you can lock it and you can unlock. Currently mine is unlocked, okay, which is dangerous. So if you are the kind that will anyhow click on the screen and then something move and you are not aware of it, it's very dangerous. All right, so it's a good habit. If you want to lock things, go ahead and lock. So in this case, for guidelines, there's a special area here you must lock. So now, right now, if I want to shift, I cannot accidentally unshift. Okay, I even create a guideline here for my bleed margin. Okay, this is to tell me this is a safe area, not safe area. This is what I should aim for if I want a edge to edge bleeding of the element. Okay, so for example, you see this swirl, it bleeds all the way out. So whatever that is beyond this doesn't matter because later on I'm going to cut away, right? So let's imagine if I'm going to have a cutter here. Okay, so all this will be gone. Okay, this is a simulation only. So all this will be gone. So I don't have to worry. But as a designer, if you like to be neat, then sure, keep everything neat within the margin. Okay. All right. So one of the first thing that I want to show today for the demo is barcode. Okay, so barcode, I told you that I've given you one which you can use. Okay, so it is an AI file. So depends on the supplier or the publisher where they get the barcode. Okay, it might be a different format, but as much as possible, try to ask one that is a vector-based format file. So in this case, this is AI. Okay, you can like ask for EPS, perhaps PDF is also fine. But PDF, sometimes they might embed it as an image instead of a vector. So you need to open up and check. Okay, if it is a vector, definitely you will be able to see all the individual lines. These are all outlined. Okay, even the text are outlined. Okay, so this is an Illustrator file. I'm going to open this up. It is already prepared to size. So if you take a look at my document here, it is 32.5 mm wide. Okay, the height is 24. So this, if you're going to import, it should be just nice. All right. So actually, there's nothing else you need to do. Okay, so let me just import just like an image. I will place the barcode in. So go to file. So in any case, if you get lost, please refer to the recording. All right. So eventually, since this is recorded, and if you think I'm going too fast, you can review back at this recording. All right. So go to file, put place here, place dot dot dot, and then locate the barcode here. All right. All right. So here are the options. Yours might be different. If it's not shown, you can show it by clicking on options. So right now, you can import it as a link. So as I mentioned, if it's a link and if it's part of a submission, you must provide this file as well, this particular barcode file. But if you want to embed, you can see that it's actually quite small. It's only 62 kilobyte. So if you want to embed, yeah, then switch this off. Okay, then it's easier to handle as well. All right. So I'm gonna embed it instead of link. All right. So it will become the cursor will become like that. It will follow wherever I want. I'm gonna show you can actually click and drag. It will increase in proportion, in the correct proportion, okay? Like that. Okay, however, this is not what you want. Okay, let me undo. I actually want to let it place according to the size that is the document. Okay, so let me locate the barcode. So again, no link. I want to embed. I just need to click once, that's it. So this is actually the size you should be using. All right. If you want to increase it, yeah, you can. But I mean, these barcode are like ugly things, right? We don't want it to dominate our beautiful design page. Okay. So put it in place. I usually like to from the corner. Okay, from the corner of the page. And then I like to shift. So while I shift, I hold the shift key so that it locks it in place. So this is actually a perfect square. Okay, perfect square. That means this size, the distance away, and this distance away will be perfect. Okay, so I like the even border here, the margin. Okay, so up to you. You can choose to put here. You can choose to put here. Usually I don't see people put barcode on top. Okay, you can even rotate it. Okay, rotate it. Put here. Okay, as long as you don't manipulate it and they are able to scan with the barcode scanner. Okay, so that is done. My final design. And again, please save your work as often as you can. So right now, as part of the submission is to adapt your design. I'm not asking you to change, just adapt your design so that it fits the mockup. So if you go to Teams, under digital imaging, under files, under assignment, storybook, here I have given you this book mockup, which you can use. However, please choose, try to look for one that is a similar proportion, because if it's very different, that means your adaptation, you need to change a lot of things. You need to shift things here and there, which you don't want, right? You want your design to maintain as much as possible. So in any case, mine is portrait size. So this is ideal if you want to use. Let me just open up that folder for you. It looks like this. I actually downloaded from this website called mockupsdesign.com. So these are the various mockups that you can actually use. So for example, for Behance, this is actually very good because it features the inside pages. If you have, of course, don't have, no need to feature lah. Okay, and then it shows exactly what is needed, which is the cover, the spine, and the back cover. Flaps are not featured here because flaps are actually not that common. You have one that shows two books stacked on top, and one is a single book. This is another angle showing inside. This one is a straight on, okay, which is very good, very useful. Okay, so I'm gonna paste this link for you in case you want to have a reference. Okay. So in any case, if you want to use mine, you can download. All right. So I'm just going to demo on one of the mockup, which is actually what I wanted already, which is cover, spine, and back cover. Okay. So if you look at the Photoshop layers, okay, you will see this is already highlighted for you, even though it's not visible here, okay, but it is linked. I just want to let you know it is linked. So once you double click, now this is back cover, this is the edge, this is the cover, okay. So let's open cover. Okay, so what's important to take note is for any mockup you use, it will definitely be different from your design. As in the aspect ratio, the width and the height will be different from yours. Okay, so so what we need to obtain is actually this aspect ratio, this width by height. What is the ratio that we need? And then change our design according to the aspect ratio. Okay, so I'm going to start one by one, starting from the mockup first. Okay, so the fastest way for me to get the ratio is to select all and copy. So Command A to select all. So we can go select all here, Command A, and copy or copy merge. Because currently there's only one layer, doesn't matter. So I'm just going to copy, if not copy merge. What does copy merge means? It means that if you have different layers within this particular Photoshop file, it will actually sort of flatten the image and copy the contents. Okay, so I'm gonna just copy for now because I know only one layer. Then I go to Illustrator. I'm gonna paste here. Okay, so this is the aspect ratio I want. So right now I'm gonna paste the spine as well as the back cover. I want to see whether they are in relation. That means at least the height is the same. Okay, so let me go here, double click. Make sure you double click on the thumbnail and not double click on this space, and not double click on this text. Okay, later on when we learn Photoshop, I mean there's a difference. So just remember double click on the thumbnail. Okay, so here is the spine, same thing, Command A, Command C, copy. I go Illustrator, paste. I'm going a bit faster, this is the same. And then I'm going to do one more, which is the back cover. Okay, double click, Command A, Command C, copy, switch to Illustrator and paste. Okay, so right now I have these three. It seems to me they are of the same height, which is very good. Okay, so now I want to actually put them together. Okay, same thing using the alignment tool. Let me make it obvious for you. Some of you still not sure how to use the align panel. Okay, if your align panel is here in the properties, sometimes it's not, depends on what is selected. Okay, so again, properties panel will change according to what tool you have selected from the toolbar. Okay, in this case, I didn't select anything yet. Okay, if I select, then you can see that the menu change, right? The properties change. Okay, but in any case, all the windows are here. All right, so if you want the align tool, the align, panel, you can bring it out here. So I'm gonna select all three this way and align vertically center. Okay, next I want them to touch each other with no gaps. So here, if I'm gonna just press this, it will just distribute for me. But then I want a customer size. So I want to click on to select this selection. This is a key selector, key object, and then make sure that this is 0 because I don't want any gaps, and click. Okay, so right now they are all together. This is actually what I need for the mockup: the cover, the spine, and the back cover. All right. However, right now, if you notice, this is actually quite long. It's longer than my design, right? So if I were to put in my design, it might not fit. So one common thing I know for sure is that the height is consistent. So from back cover to spine to front cover, all the height is the same. Okay, but if you look at the width, yeah, cover and back cover is the same, but the spine is not the same. Okay, so a good reference point is actually to use the height. So I'm gonna adjust everything based on the height. Okay, let me bring back my segments. Here, if I'm gonna select one segment, this is the height of my final design segment, which is 187. Take note, it doesn't include graphics, no bleeding also. I don't want the bleeds as well. Okay, I only want the actual height. This is the height for supposed to be for my mockup as well. Okay. So coming back to here, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to select all three, Command G to group them here, group them together. All right. So right now, the best and fast way is to change the height to, what's the number? I forgot. 187. Okay. If you want, you can also copy. Command C, copy 187. So since I already grouped this, once I change the properties here for the height, all will follow. However, please remember to click this link. If you don't click, it's going to be distorted. I'll show you like that. If I paste 187, I press enter. Can you see this is distorted? This is not what I want. So remember to click the link. And then I'm going to change the height, enter. All right. So now this is the height I want. So what will be useful is try to align this to the guideline since I've already drawn the guideline. And then I want to draw the rest of the guidelines to help guide me. Okay, so let me ungroup this so that I have the individual parts here. Okay, so I have this guideline. It will snap in place. So utilize your smart guides. Okay, if your smart guide is not on, it is here under view. This one, Command U. Okay. And last one here. Okay, so all these 1, 2, 3. If you can't see, zoom in and check. Okay, it should be exact. Okay, let me check. It's like not very exact. Okay, should be okay. Okay, notice this has no artboard behind. It doesn't really matter because I'm gonna just get the size, copy from here and go over to Photoshop and paste. Okay, all right, so I am done. Actually, you can throw this away. So just delete them. So this is what I want, the correct aspect ratio of my mockups. Right now is to adapt my design to this size. Let's start from the cover first. Okay. So it depends the complexity of your design. So you can see that I have various layers, right? Okay, and then I have my segments. So please turn on your segments. This is what you want to copy. Okay, so we are not going to touch this. This is my design in this proper layout because once you touch, everything will be gone, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is if I'm doing the cover here, I'm going to target the elements here. Okay, so whatever that is on this, make sure you select. Okay, so one good way is I like to select to form a box so that it covers the entire cover page. Okay, you can see different things are select from different layers, but I don't care. I will just copy. Okay, shift it here. I just find an empty space and paste. All right. So right now, to make your thing a bit more cleaner, you probably want to get rid of things or elements that you know for sure will not be on the cover. Okay, so let's say this, I know it's not going to be in the cover. I don't want this segment. I don't want. This spine, I don't want. All this text, I don't want. Barcode, don't want. This one, don't want. This one cannot get rid, because it is my background. I have my fold line, I don't need that. Then my crop line, I don't need that. Okay, the last back cover segment, I don't need that. Okay, so right now, oh, I got something here. What's that? Get rid. Okay, so right now I have designed things that is needed in the cover. I have this segment. This segment is what I'm going to use to clip. So remember, in order to clip things, the clipping path must always be at the most top layer. Okay, and whatever that's below it, you need to group it as one unit before you clip. So those are the two things you must remember to do in order to clip. Okay, so I'm going to select everything here first. And then holding the shift key, I'm going to click on the segment. Okay, once I click on the segment, it will deselect away the segment. Okay, so now it's not selected. Okay, so all these elements, I will group it first. So Command G and group. Okay, so now I have two elements, two things. One is the group, and then this is the segment, or this is the path that I want to clip. Okay, so let me select both of these. Go to Object, Clipping Mask, and Make. So if you know the shortcut is Command 7, Command 7. So this is clip already. All right. Oh, okay, done. No, this is not done, because if you're gonna shift this right to this area, you see what happens. Okay, you can see that it is actually, your design is actually wider as compared to the mockup. Okay, so that is the reason why we need to adjust. We need to adjust the elements inside so that it fits. I mean, you can see that the important things are inside, but some things are cropped away. So you must do that adjustment. So be very careful whether you're going to use this corner to this corner, or whether you use this corner to this corner. You can do either way, but it really depends on your background. Because I know I have this flow of things. Okay, I want the flow to go from here to here. So it's better that I use this corner to align better. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so I need to change the size of the clipping mask. Okay, one easy way is to use the direct selector. That means the white arrow here, direct selection tool. Okay, and then click, go near the edge. Of course, my smart guide is on. So click and drag, I can change the size. So while you shift, or you click and drag, you can hold the shift key so that it locks into the axis, and then it will snap to the guide. Okay, to me, it doesn't seem to be snapping correctly. Okay, so another way I want to do is to use the anchor point. Okay, clicking on the anchor point, you also can change the clipping mask here. Okay, so now it's correct already. So accept the content inside. So content inside, you need to shift, right? Okay, so what you can do is click on this, double click to go in. You will see something. If you cannot shift, like this is not what you want, double click again to go in some more. All right, so with the guidelines on, you know everything must be within this thing. So you shift lah. So like I want to shift this somewhat in the center. Okay, of course you are free to change the size a bit if you want to, you feel that it's not right. Like for example, if you want this smaller, yeah, sure, go ahead, it's your design. As long as the main thing is there, I think it's good. Okay, so once you are done with the shifting, then you okay lah. Just go up all the way. All right, so I've done this. Now I need to do the spine, right? Spine, the same thing. Center portion is important. So click from outside. Make sure the entire center spine is selected. Copy the elements. Go to a blank page, paste. Then now I can get rid of elements that I know for sure I don't want. This one I don't want, don't want, don't want. What else? Segment I want. Any other things? Okay, I think that's it. So again, select all. Deselect the segment. Group it. Okay, so I have one group, another path. This is my clipping path. So select both. And then object, clipping mask, make. And that is what I want. Okay, so I'm going to shift this in place here. Okay, so you will ask, hey, how come you use this corner now? Why you use this corner? Just now you use the other corner. Okay, I'm using this corner because I know this one I use the left corner. So to join it properly, I must use this corner. Okay, now it will join properly. Okay, so, oops, sorry. So now with this, we need to make it longer, right? Wider, because the spine. So again, use your direct selector. Here, I like to, I think, use the corner easier. Okay, so I'm adjusting the clipping path now. Okay, then use the selection tool, double click to go in, double click again. Then I can shift the various components. Okay, currently all these are grouped together. I think I want to double click again. Okay, so this needs to be in the center. And this publisher logo. Okay, this one is a bit more tricky. Okay, so you probably need to clean this up so that when you enlarge it, it will be cleaner. Okay, but because we are doing it for mockup, maybe accuracy it's not that bad. Okay, so I'm going to enlarge this. Okay, this is supposed to be equal height, equal height. Okay, in terms of design. Okay, so if the smart guide is hindering you, you can turn off the smart guide. So here, smart guide turn off. Then I can adjust. Okay, don't worry if you overspill a bit for this case lah, because my clipping mask is actually will clip it away later on. Okay, so I'm done with this. I'm gonna go back, go back, go back, all the way up. So now this is done. Okay, you can see it's very clean. My clipping mask will clean up the edge for me. Okay, now left the last segment. I'm gonna do this very quickly. Okay, the last segment, select, copy, come here, paste, get rid of things I don't need. I don't need. Here, don't need. Okay, I don't need the spine. I don't need the spine elements. I need my barcode. So select all. Deselect the back cover and group it. Okay, so now these two elements, separate elements are separate. So clipping path must always be on top. Select both. Command 7, clip. Okay, now we need to shift this. Again, shift so that it is in line. Smart guides turn on here. Okay. Actually, here you can't really see that there is actually it should be this way. Okay, it actually should be more inside. If you see here, the joint is not so good. Okay, but actually there's another way I can do is to remove all the different backgrounds and then copy from this into the various backgrounds can ready. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I need to change the width of this again, fit into the size of my mockup. All right, so and then double click, go in, adjust the various things. Okay, so if you have text, okay, at this point of time, since it is for mockup, you don't really need it to be editable. You can always convert all your text to outline. So go to type, create outlines. Okay, so in the event, if you do need to scale it down, then you don't have to worry, because just now I was using text box. So if I scale down, it will wrap to the shape, which is not what I want. Okay, so I go to object, sorry, go to type, create outlines, and then if I need to shrink down, I can shrink down. Okay, then these elements I want to shift to the center. Yeah, that's it. Should be done. So that is how you do the different segment. Okay, so the last part will be to copy all these 1, 2, 3 segments into your mockup. So here, copy, go to Photoshop. This is my back cover. This is the front. So I'm gonna paste. Okay, so some of you remember that I actually wanted you to paste as smart object. Okay, there's a disadvantage to this in this scenario. When you paste, you actually paste whatever that is inside the clipping mask as well. Okay, which are invisible. All right, in this case, this is what I tell you. So I would recommend, okay, let's escape and redo. We'll paste again. So instead of smart objects, paste as pixel. All right, paste as pixel, and later on we'll adjust the size. Okay, first you will see this boundary box. At this point of time, make sure you don't okay, don't okay and yes or enter. Okay, try to make it bigger than, do it bigger than your actual mockup. Okay, make sure it is bigger. And when you stretch, make sure it's not distorted, because it depends on your setting here, whether it's locked or not locked. Some of you, it depends on your setting. Some of you is locked. So you have to be very sensitive whether you are increasing the aspect ratio correctly or not. Okay, so right now, once you're okay, then okay. All right. Now I need to transform this. Okay, so let's learn a little more about Photoshop. Okay, so go to transform. So edit, transform. Shortcut is this one. Yeah, let's use free transform. Okay, once you click free transform, you can see the larger things are gone now, because this is pixel. When we paste it as pixel. Okay, so now because your proportion, you have done it very correctly, right? Everything is adjusted in Illustrator correctly. So when you squash, okay, like that, doesn't matter, because I know my proportion will be right as long as I go from corner to corner like that. Okay, so if you distort, make sure it goes all the way to the corner to corner. Then just okay. Remember to save, and you will see this being reflected here. Okay, so let me quickly do the rest for the spine. So spine, again, paste as pixel. You can see so small. So make it bigger. Enter, resize, Command T, and enlarge, save, check, okay. Then now the back cover, Command C, copy, or Control C, paste. Make it smaller, make it bigger, enter, free transform, double click, save. Tada, it's done. So this is done. So if you want zoom in to check, this is okay. This thing happened is because the way that this mockup has been done. Okay, so the person who did this mockup is not very accurate. So in this case, if you are very particular about how the background flows nicely, you can cheat a bit lah. Okay, so for example, you might want to, or maybe shift this, use the arrow key, you shift it down, save, and then see, if you're happy with that, just need to clean this up. Okay, clean this up. Okay, maybe add this color over. Yeah, I know you are still not so familiar with Photoshop, and it's okay. Okay, but in any case, let me close this, oops, close this. Okay, so this is quite flawless already. See, the joint is very nice. Okay, so feel free to customize your background if you want to for this particular mockup. So it depends on the mockup, what is done. Okay, so that is it already to adapt your design to your mockup. All right, so so if let's say your storybook is landscape, or if your storybook is a square, you need to find the appropriate mockups. But I can tell you, square mockups are a bit harder to find. Okay, not that there is don't have, but it's very hard to find. Okay, so usually book are portrait in size. Can I know I go very fast. Again, if you need to rewind the video, go back and do it on your own time, please go ahead. Okay, so please remember, eventually this mockup, I will ask you all, because this is part of your submission, right? So you have to submit. Also because the mockup will be what you will use for your IG submission. All right, Ken? Any questions so far? No? Okay. So if you are still alive, wish you all the best. So that's it for today. You can leave the chat group, and once the recording is done, I'm going to stop recording. Once it's done, then you can access it. Okay.